Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Shinrin Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Monday, January 8th, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. A powerful magnitude 6.7 earthquake rocks the Philippines. The death toll has risen to 6 as we are waiting on a potential double whammy blizzard. Over 100 counties in 9 states under blizzard warnings over the next 24 hours. Hours of powers. Keep calm. It's boom time. Polar vortex and extreme weather events set to slam the U.S. The next 2 weeks will feature multiple powerhouse storm systems and a polar vortex event that together will affect the U.S. from coast to coast, snarling travel, threatening lives, and causing severe damage. As a major winter storm to bring ferocious blizzard conditions and travel hazards across the country is developing. Travel in northeast New Mexico, eastern Colorado, the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles, western Kansas, and southwest Nebraska will become extremely dangerous to impossible over the next 24 hours. And snow alert, interior Humboldt may see up to a foot of snow this week. More rain and hail on the coast. Let's take a look at the snowfall totals. We have over a foot of snow over massive regions in the Northeast, including exactly where we predicted it, upstate PA, south of the Catskills, most of Massachusetts, Connecticut, as well as 18 inches or more in Vermont and New Hampshire. So big totals from this system, as well as in the West. Over the last 3 days, we've had huge totals here, 32 inches, I believe. 36 inches they're showing here in the southern mountains where we live. And huge totals in Oregon, and more snow is coming. No one is bumming because the basins are still at a lack of snow. We now have about 10 basins which are at or near normal, which is good news, and this has increased 300%. So we need more snow, and certainly that's in the forecast. Major winter storm to impact the lower 48 this week. Flooding concerns for Hawaii. Significant winter storms will track across the lower 48 through this week with blizzard conditions for the plains and the Midwest. Strong to damaging winds, severe thunderstorms, and heavy rainfall from the deep south through the Northeast are expected through Tuesday. Another system will bring heavy precipitation to the Pacific Northwest through Wednesday. And for Hawaii, a cold front will focus on heavy rain. Let's take a quick look at the GFS model and rewind the heavy snow. Take a look at the snow in the Pacific Northwest. That's literally going to tilt the earth. But I do digress. There's going to be 2 systems moving through the central U.S., adding insult to injury, one after another, burying areas of, take a look at that, Missouri, as well as Illinois, maybe even Indiana and parts of Michigan. So let's walk this through for you. Here's Tuesday as that storm and the blizzard conditions move across the center of the country into Wednesday morning. Take a look at that. A huge swath of 16 inches with blowing snow in Iowa, northern Missouri, as well as Illinois, including but not limited to Kansas, eastern Kansas. So a heavy area with heavy impacts, and there are going to be some pileups on the highways because people just don't know how to drive. More snow coming to the Northeast, far from the coast, so it's going to be western PA, the Adirondacks, upstate New Hampshire, and parts of Maine. It's insane. And a second system will follow 3 days later. Oh, man. It's lining up to be an epic January. Take a look at the totals here showing up in the West. The Pacific Northwest, this is literally going to break records of all times. Take a look at some of those totals in Idaho. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. There he is, floating away on a glacier, as he should be. Now, we've been closely monitoring Lake Mead for years, as well as Lake Powell, as the fearmongers said that it was going to dry up into oblivion, and we said that is not true, that all of the droughts in the West are cyclic. And sure enough, in the last year, take a look at Lake Mead water levels. They exceeded the 2022 level on May 16th. And then, just recently, December 2nd, they exceeded the 2021 levels, and they continue to rise Yes, Lake Mead has risen over 23 feet this year alone. And Lake Powell is not drying up either. A rapid rise of dozens of feet occurred in the summer, and it has maintained its level. So Lake Powell is much above the fearmonger levels. In fact, up 30 or 40 feet in the year. Good news. Bad news for Australia. November 2023 saw the most lightning ever detected in Australia, which means a lot of lightning. As predicted, over the last 8 years, we said that as the sun shuts down, we see increased lightning on the surface, and certainly they saw it in Australia. Never before has so much lightning been recorded across Australia, with the weather zone's total lightning networking showing 40,465,119 individual lightning pulses over Australia during just November. 40.5 million lightning pulses. Wow. November 2023 will go down in history as the month unlike any previously seen in Australian meteorological history. Now, unfortunately, scientists are baffled. But I predicted this, and many other scientists like myself know exactly what's going on. Increased cosmic rays, decreased solar activity, waning magnetosphere, more electrical activity at the surface.
Oil prices did drop overnight. Does that mean...
Now, more good news coming from up north, including Greenland. The Greenland surface mass budget has increased by 6 gigatons in the last 24 hours. This is January 7th numbers, and it could be reaching record territory in the next 24. There is no drought of ice built on Greenland, with now 2 days all-time record ice gain in the ice building season of this year. Them's are the facts. Woman in her 90s pulled alive from rubble 5 days after the Japan earthquake. Holy macaroni. This is good news. The catastrophic quake had left many roads and regions the hardest hit cut off from emergency responders, and they're still looking today. Rescuers found the woman in Suzu City in Ishikawa Prefecture on Saturday evening, 124 hours after the quake struck, and took her to a nearby hospital, according to Japan's public broadcasting network. The death toll from the disaster has risen to at least 126, according to the latest figures, and our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to those affected. Now, another major quake, not quite so large, has occurred in the Philippines. First registering at magnitude 7.0, downgraded to 6.7. The powerful magnitude 6.7 earthquake rocked the Philippines. The presidential palace said President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. instructed government agencies to ensure the safety and well-being of everyone affected in the quake. Let's take a look at some of the activity. Watch the pillar collapse there. The ceiling is falling in. Holy mackerel. Now, Okay, everyone calm down. Initial reports said that there was no damage or loss of life, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The Philippines say at least 6 killed in Friday's magnitude 6.7 earthquake, and that death toll is certainly going to rise. The offshore quake struck Mindanao Island on Friday at a depth of 60 kilometers, according to the German Research Center for Geosciences. Near the epicenter is Shanghai Province. At least 2 people died while rescuers were searching for others missing after there was a landslide. And in Davao Occidental Province, a 78-year-old man died after being crushed by a rock. Also, other people have been crushed by falling walls, while another woman was killed at a shopping mall. A man and his wife when a concrete wall collapsed on them. So those are just some of the initial reports from the deadly 6.7 earthquake that is now rocking the Philippines. Again, our thoughts, our hearts, and our prayers go out to all those affected. Quick seismic update. There is the quake of note 6.7 in Sarangana, Philippines. Some aftershocks happening of 4.5 just moments ago. We have some activity up here, 207 207 kilometers west of Port McNeil, a 4.3 coming in up there in the dreaded Cascadia zone. So, whew, holy macaroni, buckle up, Buttercup. Anything is possible. A quick look over at the continent of Iceland shows, the island of Iceland shows that there is a major outbreak in the Tyrnus fracture zone to the north. Let's take a look at that and blow it up. Yes, there is a small seismic outburst there. There's been activity over the last 48 hours, so clearly there could be some subsurface volcanism happening there. Now, let's keep our close eye on the Reykjanes Ridge. Activity has dropped off. This is typical before an earthquake, so we're keeping a close eye on the tremor here in Grindavik as it's been increasing over the last 48 hours. Hours of powers, and the last eruption happened at about the same threshold, 4,800. So we're keeping a close eye on Iceland and praying for those all involved. Worldwide volcano news update. We've got Fuego to 15,000 feet today. Marapi puffing and passing to some of the highest levels in over a month, 17,000 foot. Multiple paroxysms getting the local community on edge. Reventador to 14,000 feet. And normal activity, including Ibo to 10,000, Nevado de Ruiz to 21,000, Semaru puffing to 14,000 feet today. And let's see if we can get a picture. Here's Marapi again, another volcanic ash advisory to 17,000 feet. Tucono, 10,000. We do have some spectacular footage from Fuego earlier today. Sungay to 19,000. Again, Nevado de Ruiz. Liwotobi puffing to 14,000 today. And here we can see some of that activity from Marapi in the distance, albeit not quite such a good photo. But here, Fuego in Guatemala, continuing eruptions and amazing, dangerous pyroclastic flows. So stay away from that volcano if you can. Space weather news update. The sun has gone quite quiet. Just a few pinprick sunspots. All the solar polar fields have reversed. We've entered solar. We are dropping down into solar minimum. Solar max is over. Flaring has not come above C. 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all calm. You are in the modern grand solar minimum, folks, whether you like it or not. Now, I'm sure you've all heard about footprints in the White Sands Desert of New Mexico dating all the way back to 23,000 years. Well, a new study confirmed the age of the oldest fossil human footprints in North America. 2 new lines of evidence support 21,000 to 23,000 year age estimates of the footprints first described and dated all the way back in 2021. And here's even more good news. We're going to provide you with the paper and maps on the location of the footprints. Lake levels and trackways, an alternative model to explain the timing of human megafauna trackway intersections in the Tularosa Basin in New Mexico. Now, the first map we're going to show you is the Archeo Lake Otero, which doesn't exist anymore, but at one time was filled like this during the last ice age about 21,000 years ago. The White Sands Dune Field and the location of many of the study areas, which are dating these sites, as well as the trackways themselves. We're not going to tell you where those trackways are, except it shows you right here with the yellow star. Now, the only problem is it's very close. This part is in a military base, so there's no way you can even get there. Yeah, that's a White Sands military base there, and no one is going to be seeing what these guys saw. In fact, the oldest footprints that are accepted in North America being 21 to 23,000 years ago. All the links to everything we talk about will be below the video so that you can do your own homework. Now, Cleveland Clinic and IBM unveil the first quantum computer dedicated to healthcare research. And if you've never seen a quantum computer, holy macaroni. And if you research what these computers do, you're not really going to get any good information. But they work with little quasi-particles called qubits that can do faster computing than standard computers. So they have applications in certain computer modeling questions, but not everything. But they certainly do look like science fiction or not even real. This looks fake to me. But I do digress. What is fake is the human-induced anthropogenic global warming. The cause of climate change? Well, it isn't carbon dioxide, according to experts, and the experts that we agree with, including Willie Soon over at Ceres Science. The scientific community, regardless of what you heard, doesn't agree on the core cause of climate change. In fact, none of us do. And according to climate expert Willie Soon, humanity should look beyond Earth to find the source, perhaps maybe even look towards the sun. In a new discussion that Willie Soon has made, Climate Series Part 2. Anyway, it will be linked below, and he is the bomb. We love Willie. And not only that, not only is Ceres Science working on the climate change fraud, but they're also working on the Wu flu fraud. New research finds the natural seasonality of coronaviruses had more influence on the Wu flu pandemic than government interventions, including to social distancing, masking, and even the vaccine. How do you like them apples? Certainly a boom to knowledge and science, real science, not propaganda. We feed it to you here every day at the effing awesome classroom. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hit the thumbs up. It's free. It helps with the algorithm. We love you. Be safe. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do for as little as $1 a month and watch all of our content in one place, commercial free.